What's going on, everybody? My name is Tenebris Infinite, and welcome back to Generation Zero. For today's video, we got 4 simple tips to save your life when it comes to inventory management. But before that, I'd just like to say something really quick here. Freaking 1,000 subscribers, man! What the hell? You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for all of the support, and thank you for every single one of you that has taken the time out of your day just to watch one of my videos. And the most fulfilling thing out of all of this is just knowing that I've been able to help as many people as I have. So thank you so much for watching my videos and for taking the time out of your day. Now let's get into the video. So I've had a lot of you guys ask me, Tenebris, how do you keep your inventory so neat? How do you keep it so organized? And honestly, I never really thought about it until I started having people ask me. But I've managed to figure out what I do in this game to keep my inventory so managed. And they're all very simple things that are easy for you guys to do. And I really think that these tips are going to be useful once the storage update comes out as well, because even though we'll have storage, there will still be a ton of personal inventory management that you will have to do. So I've come up with these tips here, kind of future-proof them for the storage update, and I think that I've come up with some really good tips here. So let's jump into tip number 1. So for tip number 1, I'm going to try to go over this quickly but efficiently here. So the idea is designating slots in your inventory. So what I like to do is I like to keep my upper 2 left slots here for weapons, and I only give 2 extra slots in my inventory for weapons. I keep them up in the upper left here so that way whenever I open up my inventory, I will likely be on these 2 weapons when I'm in the middle of a firefight, and if not, I know where they are in my inventory to get to them really quickly. I generally switch these 2 weapons out with my secondary slot, and I keep my assault rifle on my first slot, depending on where my ammo count is, sometimes substituting my shotgun for my first slot, but most of the time I just swap these guys out with weapon slot 2, and I maintain my AI-76 at the first slot. Next up, you guys will notice that I use a lot of room in my inventory for ammo, but I kind of have things mapped out here. So I keep my 2 bits of sidearm ammo right here beside the 2 top weapons. Then I'll carry like 3 stacks, potentially 4 stacks of sniper ammo. And then I will carry usually around like 1,000, maybe 1,500 rounds for my assault rifle, and I leave the last 2 slots for some sort of shotgun ammo, so that way I can kind of get the multi-purpose use out of the shotgun 12 gauge variants. And then next up, I've got kind of my miscellaneous utility items here. And one thing that you'll notice on my engineer is that I don't use flares or fireworks or any of that stuff. But I will show you afterwards an inventory where I do use those things. And then over here, I've got just an absurd amount of EMP rounds. But I'm kind of keeping these in hopes of a boss, but I also use them on tanks a whole bunch. And then over here, I keep a whole bunch of advanced first aid kits, and I generally run with at least 6, but sometimes 8 stacks in my inventory. And here we have my Vanguard, in which case I use a lot more utility items. So the way I'll usually map out my sticky flares, and fireworks is I'll have 3 to 4 stacks of sticky flares, maybe 1 to 2 stacks of fireworks, and sometimes I'll carry emergency flares, but if I can, I'll swap them out for sticky flares. I find that sticky flares give you the most use out of the throwable kind of distraction items. And then for this guy, you'll notice that I carry a lot of explosives. So I like to use these explosives kind of in tandem with the emergency flares, setting up situations where I will be able to guide and kind of cart my enemies into the landmines that I've placed down. And then on top of that, you'll notice that I kind of have my inventory for ammo set up in a similar way between my Vanguard and my Engineer here. So for my Vanguard, I carry 3 variations of the shotgun ammo just to get the most use out of it, because I find that I use the shotgun a little bit more on my Vanguard here. I carry 1 stack of sniper ammo because I find that with the 270 rounds, I definitely don't use it as much as the 50 caliber rounds. Then I'll carry 2 stacks again of sidearm ammo just in case if I ever need it. And again, aiming for like something like 1,000 bullets, maybe 1,500 bullets of the 5.56, and then I leave a couple stacks for my submachine gun. And again, I keep my 2 auxiliary weapons up here in the upper left corner, and well, depending on the situation, I will swap it out for my weapon slot 2. That way I can either have my submachine gun for a little bit of quicker firepower, or the shotgun in case if I'm facing something a little bit bigger. And now for my Vanguard as well, a kind of nice thing is that I don't need to use as many medkits. So I am able to just kind of rock the simple first aid kits and the standard first aid kits, and I'll only carry maybe 4 or 5 stacks of medkits. My next kind of pro tip here is to find an ammo variant and kind of stick with it. So for me, I kind of switch with whatever the RNG is giving me the most of at the moment in time, but I kind of like to stick with the FMJ rounds when it comes to any sort of option, because FMJ rounds can be very, very plentiful when you do find them as drops. And then when it comes to the shotgun, I kind of just pick 2 depending on the purpose that my shotgun is serving. So for the Engineer here, I kind of just keep the buckshot and the birdshot because a lot of times I'll be using my shotgun when I'm aiming at a larger enemy or when I'm fighting groups of runners, in which case if I want to deal with like the large group, the birdshot is usually the way I'll go, or if I want to kill them really quickly, the buckshot is the way I'll go. So it can take a little bit of self-control sticking with just one ammo type. A lot of times you have to kind of look at the ammo you're going to pick up before you pick it up, just to make sure that it's matching the type that you're currently collecting. But in my personal opinion, this is just one of the best ways to keep your ammo all stacked neatly and efficiently. So next up, the next tip is something that I've already said in one of my pro tips videos, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper with it here. And that is only keep the attachments and weapons and medkits that you use. So a lot of times people will kind of designate more slots than they need to weapons, and they'll carry around weapons that they do not use. So in my personal opinion, it's best to just find the weapons that you use the most, keep your other weapons on some sort of an auxiliary character, and use the weapons that you favor on your current character and build. Freeing up the slots that you use for weapons gives so much more room to all of these utility items and all of the med kits and all of the ammunition that you'll need. And then on top of that, as I've been saying about the med kits, with my Engineer here, my Engineer is kind of soft. So if he gets hit by anything, he generally takes a lot of damage because I haven't spec'd out into the armor class very much, and I haven't spec'd out into the health class very much. So I know that what I'm going to need is the most amount of healing at any given time. So the thing that I've farmed for this character are the advanced first aid kits, and you're able to get those off of the tanks really, really easily. And then, as you saw with my Vanguard previously, all I carry on him are the simple medkits and sometimes the standard medkits, depending. Alright, and for our fourth tip here, our fourth tip is pretty simple, but it's something that you can sometimes lose track of, which is micromanaging your inventory. Whenever you're done a fight, it's always your best idea to go into your inventory and kind of look at where your ammo is and where everything is sitting at. So now that I've picked up that ammo there, I'm going to kind of swap things around here in my inventory, keeping all of my FMJs grouped together nicely here. Another thing that I'll do is I will attach a full stack to my weapon after I'm done fighting. So now I'll be able to combine these two stacks and actually free up an inventory slot. And then I'll go through and fix up any sort of health kits. So in my first slot here, I'm just going to assign this guy to the top slot here. And then I'll be able to pick up this med kit really easily from this guy. And so after any sort of fight that you have, it's always a good idea to kind of loot and micromanage at the same time. So there you guys go. 4 really simple tips to manage your inventory better and keep things organized in your inventory. I find that routinely doing these things has saved me such a headache in this game when it comes to my inventory, and I really hope that these tips can help you guys too. But with that kind of out of the way, I just wanted to give like a little bit of a channel update here since we've hit 1,000 subscribers. I'm planning on starting up a morning hardcore live stream series. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I really hope you guys will tune in and check it out. More information about that will be coming out over the span of this weekend. So hopefully these tips have helped you guys, and if you like the video, maybe give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, maybe consider subscribing. For now though, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Until then, peace.